Hi guys, welcome back to the shop. Hey, today I'm going to get on the F7 wheels. We're going to start the tear down of those, and I'm going to take you through and show you what kind of information the spoke maker is going to want if you go to order some. A lot of these, I don't know, I think probably the last time I was able to get any off eBay, a full set of Yamaha has probably been 5 or 6 years ago. They're just not on there anymore. Every once in a while you run onto one that's a partial set or something like that, but they're really getting hard to find on there unless you just happen to be lucky. But if you go to source them through a maker like Buchanan, I'll just show you some of the things that you may need to know and they want to know in order to make sure they give you the right spoke. And in some cases with the more obscure things and older than say 70, they're going to want you to send some spokes in. So in that case, you want to make sure you don't cut them. Try to get them loose or get at least one loose. But we're going to get started on this, and I've already started trying to get the front tire off, and I really thought I would be able to reuse the rim, but I don't think I am. Let me show you why. Okay, the first problem I ran into was the tire was stuck to the rim, and that's kind of a bad sign. You know, more so than just difficult to get loose. This was all rusted. I think you can see in there. It's not looking real pretty. I've done some soaking of the spokes, and some places it doesn't look too bad, but other places it does. Anyway, I've done some soaking to the spokes, and that is, we're going to see if we can get any of them loose. You know, I hate to just cut them. So if I can use them, or not use them this time, but in order to keep them, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to, if I can get some of them loose, at least you've got some if you need spares or something like that. But I've been soaking these, and I'm starting to get some action on them. So I may be able to get some of them off. And maybe it won't look as bad once I get the tire off also. Okay. Now if you're going to order spokes from a spoke manufacturer like Buchanan's, they're probably going to want to know the diameter and whether or not it's got two diameters. Sometimes you're thicker up here by the hub, and it gets a little thinner down here. These just happen to be the same everywhere. And you may just want to jot down, this one here is about 0.137 or 138 really. They're going to want to know that number, and if it's a stepped spoke, they may want to know that other one too. But another thing that they probably will know, or you probably need to tell them, is the size of your nipples. Otherwise the hole size in your rim. And you're going to have to take them apart before you can do that. But normally they can probably tell if by this thickness here what size nipple is going to go on it. But they may want to ask you anyway. So anyhow, with these old bikes with the front rim, all your spokes are going to be pretty much the same. You're going to have, it's 36 holes, so half of them are going to be inside spokes. This one here it's on the inside, and then you've got half of them outside spokes. And they're bent a little different up here where they go through the holes. This one will be a steeper bend, more of a 90. This one will be a little bit less than a 90. Okay, now on the rears, it can be different, and is in this case. Okay, in this case, we've got what they call a conical hub, and one side of this hub is smaller in diameter than the other side. This is a small side. So these spokes are going to be just a little bit longer. And of course, you've still got inside-outside spokes. And then on this side, they're going to be a little bit shorter because the hub is bigger here. And you have inside-outside spokes. So when you order a set for these, for a conical hub, you're going to have 4 different spoke designs. They're, well, not designs really, but you're going to have 2 inners and 2 outers of different lengths. And on the fronts, you're going to have just half, they're going to be the same on both sides. So you're just going to have 2 sets. This here is the front one. You're going to have, they're going to give you a bag of nipples and 2 sets of spokes, 1 inner, 1 outer. And they always give you some lube for them too. So that's what you're going to get in the bag for a front for at least this type of machine. And then for the rear, you're going to get the lube, and you're going to get four different bags. And like I say, half of these are going to be inside, half of them are going to be outside spokes, and then you're going to have 2 different lengths of them. So that's what you're going to end up with. And you don't want to buy these things and leave them lay around without verifying that they're going to work, because most of these people will only take them back for about 30 days. So you want to make sure that you use them, or at least verify your spokes and the correct bends. And like I said, I'm kind of soaking these, and I just use a lubricant here to just get it around the nipples, and it will absorb or leach up into them. And if it's going to do anything, it'll do it pretty quick. You know, it's not going to take a long time. If you got to wait a long time, it's probably not going to work anyway. And in this case, this is the best stuff I've found, and I'm not affiliated with them, but it really works good, and that's why I don't mind telling you. Kroll oil. I just put it in a little squeeze bottle like this, and just apply it liberally around all the spokes, and just give it 30 minutes to an hour, and then we'll see how many of them come loose. And I've already been doing this, and as you could see earlier, I had some breaking loose on me. Now, I'm not going to insult your intelligence by telling you how to change a tire. In this case, this tire is just, it's so rotten, it's almost fallen apart by the tool. Okay, you can see here where it's really being eat up. And there's nothing in here that's, looks like it's peeing out the valve stem there. So it's probably got some stop leak in it. That's kind of what it looks like. Yeah, looking pretty rough. I really imagine when I start getting them out of there. See, this looks not so bad here. You can see kind of the, you know, there's no rust there, but there is up here under the bead. This is probably where it's set in water. So I don't think we're going to be using it. Anyhow, we'll get that stuck up on the truing stand and we'll start loosening them up. Okay, when you're looking for rims too, you're going to want to know that your spoke holes are the right size. And these are about just a little over 1/4 of an inch, 257. And this is actually a aftermarket rim. Actually, they all are. If you look here, this says Union Cycle right here on the side of it, but it's got a Yamaha part number on it. So they're buying them from them, and this is one that I bought from Thailand, and I don't remember the eBay seller, but it's Union Cycle also. So it's the same ones. These steel rims are getting kind of hard to find here in the States. And I usually order these things out of Thailand anymore. I just happen to have a couple of Yamaha ones left, and I probably paid a lot more for those. But you just want to make sure that your spokes, you got to have some wiggle room in them. They can't fit tight. You've got to be able to have some space. So if you get them in and they're, you know, push come to shove, you can always drill these out, but you've got to understand that you're going to have rusting wherever you drill these out and take the chrome off. So don't do it if you can help it. Just try to make sure you get the right holes. And when I order these from Thailand, I can't remember the seller I get them from, but he's really good. And you just, you email him, tell him what size you're looking for, make sure it's 36 hole, and make sure you got 1/4 inch holes, or whatever you're looking for. And he'll email you right back, and he'll make that happen. Whatever you're looking for is what he'll send you. And he's never not done what he said he'd do. So I think he's a very reputable seller. I want to say it's something mini bike, but I can't remember for sure. It's on eBay. Now this rear one probably would have been acceptable, especially after a trip through the de-rusting agent, the Metal Rescue. But it's just too bad on the outside. There's just, you know, I'll look, but it's I can usually pretty well tell whether or not it will come out in the Metal Rescue or not. And you just don't want that coming back after you've gone to all the trouble to lace them. So, you know, if in doubt, just get some new rims. They're not that much. I think when I order these from Thailand, I get 2 at a time. They come in a set, like front and rear. But like I say, you want to make sure you ask all the right questions. And get the size, get the hole size, all that stuff, and ask before you buy them. But I want to say it's less than 150 bucks, or maybe 160 for a pair of them. The last time I got them, of course, I don't know what things are now. It's probably been over a year since I bought a pair from them. But anyhow, just do your homework and ask all the right questions. Okay, one thing I like to do is measure the drop of the hub here, the hub from the rim, before I take it apart. This side is right at 2 inches, and if you flip the other side over, and we're right at 3/4 of an inch. So it's good just to make a note of that. If when you put it back together it's close to that, you're all right. But if you're way off, you've got a problem. You're going to have to figure out what it is. You've got the wrong spokes or something. The front one, not a big deal. It's not conical, so you don't have that wide variation here sticking out on one side. So just make a note of that. Let me just bring the front one over and we can kind of look at it. I think you can tell there that it's just not the big difference that the other one is. But if it makes you feel any better, go ahead and do it. I rarely have, I don't think I've ever had a problem with the front one, but occasionally you do with the rear. So just measure it, and if you're within 1/8 of an inch or so, you're golden. You should be okay. So we'll start tearing them apart. Now, if I'm trying to remember, I think it was the Yamaha Twin 90. I could not get any of these spokes loose. It was just too rusted up. So in that case, you just have no real option. You've got to just cut them to get them out of there. But what you want to do before you, in that case, I had to send spokes to Buchanan's for them to make them, because I think their build cards or whatever stop at about 1970. I'm sure that they have some that are older than that, but in that case, that's the only one I've ever had to send to them to have it match it up. Just cut one spoke, one outer and one inner, and then keep the pieces, and then tape them back together and send those to whoever's making your spokes. So you don't lose, you don't get the bottom part of one, top part of another, or so on and so forth. Just do one, get it done, and then you're done. Then you can just go ahead and cut them all and get them out of there. But so far I'm having pretty good luck here getting these out or getting them loose. So I'm going to continue because I just like having them if I need them. Okay, I've got 4, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like 5 that I couldn't get out. So that's pretty good. So I'm going to just try a little heat on the remaining ones, and if they won't come out pretty easy, we'll just cut them. But if I can save them, we'll try. So you just heat up the nipple. Shouldn't take very long. I mean, it's only worth so much to. All right, looks like it worked on that one. I'll try this one over here. They're in good shape. I mean, they need replating, but at least the nipples aren't all chewed up or anything like that. So they are good candidates for replating. Yeah, looks like we're good. So that's what I'll do with the rest of these. Okay, I got them all out, and I'm doing now is just pulling out and keeping all the insides and the outsides separate. And I usually just tape them up and put them away where I know where they're at. And if I need one spoke or something like that, then I have it. I may have to plate it, but I have it. So there's all those, and there's all those. So we're down to a bare hub. Okay, there's that one. I only had one on there that was frozen that I had to heat. Okay, so this one here will have 4 piles of spokes. Just start with the inside ones here on the brake side. Go around and get all those. And then get all your outside ones from this side. Okay, there's 2 piles. Same thing over here. And there's a 3rd pile. And then we'll get our last ones be the inside on the sprocket side. So there you go, all disassembled. Okay, get this, get the bearings and seals out of this, and then we can start cleaning it up. We use a blind bearing puller. I think I've showed this before in other videos. You screw in the appropriate sized mandrel there, and then you slide a slide hammer on it. There's the seal. And there's the bearing. Really nice grease yet, looks like. Thing really turns like it's nice. There's our the spacer, and we've got the other end for the bearing. And you just pop this one in the other side and tighten it up. And there's the other side. See, this thing just expands when you tighten it up. Expands on there, and then just then your slide hammer pulls it out. So Okay, just repeated the whole process on the front one also. So we've got everything out of both of them, and next thing we need to do is start cleaning them up. Run through the bead blaster, clean everything up, and then run it through the ultrasonic cleaner. Looks like all the holes and inserts and threads, looks like everything's good. So let me get started cleaning up. Okay, got these bead blasted. They look a lot better than they did. And getting ready to put them in the ultrasonic cleaner, and they'll go in there and get cleaned up and get the beads out of them, and then we'll give them a shot of clear, and that should then we can start loading them back up with bearings and seals and all that, and getting them ready to lace. Okay guys, we're gonna make some paper dolls. Stand by, I'll show you how to do it. What I'm talking about is masking this stuff off. I've got lots of these that I've used, and I just keep them because that one's pretty close. I could probably almost get by with that, but we'll just make it fit for these. Without modifying these, I'll be using those again at some point. So I just I took the closest ones that I had and that I just showed you, and I just transferred them. And I'll actually have to cut these off a little bit, but it's just a good way to mask things off, and you can kind of reuse them if you're doing several bikes or always have one in progress like I do. Then you can just modify them or whatever, but we'll just take a little off this one and see where we're at. Alright, I've got one that is going to work pretty good for you. This one here, I've got to cut a hole out in the middle just a little bit. So to do that, we'll just hold it up here pretty close and try to get our outline. There we go. Now I can get in there with a razor and cut that up. And stuff like this, you could go ahead and finish that out with the hammer, but it's pretty easy this way. I just use a scalpel. I got a veterinarian friend that doesn't mind giving me one once in a while. And they're really not that expensive. I've bought some on eBay before. So we'll just kind of keep trimming at this. I think we're pretty close there. I just need to trim a little bit on the outside. Looks like from about here to about here. So you can see we've kind of done that, and then we just finish the rest of it up with a little tape. It's not rocket science, just get her done. And we'll do the same thing over here, and I'll just use some tape on that. And again, we can use the kind of the hammer method to finish these out. Whenever you're doing that though, just be easy. You're just trying to cut the tape. just like that. Okay, and then once you get that kind of the bare aluminum color from your bead blasting, that's the way most of these are left. You just put some clear lacquer over it to protect that and keep it from staining and whatnot. And I'll do that in 2 steps like this, and then once that dries we'll flip it over and we'll do the other side. But I'm just using the Krylon, actually it's Rust-Oleum clear, and I'm out of it. So I'm gonna have to go get another one while this is drying. I'm gonna have to go get some more clear lacquer and I'll finish these up. Okay, we got everything painted. Just try to get our tape all off. And we'll just save these for the next Kawasaki. I think those turned out pretty good. And I've got to tell you that I didn't like the way they looked bare. You know, I just sprayed clear lacquer over the bare aluminum. For some reason they seemed very splotchy. So let me show you what I did. Actually, I used the same stuff that I use on the Yamaha and the Suzuki's, the hubs. It's really hard to find silver, and you know, you can find all kinds of metallic colors and other things, but the silver, and you don't need high heat, but it just seems like this is the only way I can find just silver. And it's heat resistant silver is the product, and I spray this on and let that dry, and then put the semi-gloss clear over it, and that takes away the splotchiness. And yes, when you it goes on silver, and when you put the clear lacquer on, it actually turns it kind of gray, but there's still some silver look to it, and that's the best that I've found. So, and one day I picked up every can of metallic and silver and whatever out there, and I bet I bought 10 different cans of stuff, and nothing was to my liking. And then when I did this, I thought this looks pretty good, so that's what I've stayed with ever since. And I tried to do it with these thinking maybe the Kawasaki aluminum was different, but it was splotchy too, so it took the silver to make it look right to me. Okay, I've got all the bearings greased up, and I tell you what, there's no doubt in my mind that this grease won't be there in those bearings 50 years from now. That is the slimiest, greasiest, stringiest, but it's good stuff. It's waterproof. Anyhow, good grease. So we're going to go ahead and get these put back in, and we'll need drivers for all this stuff. So let me kind of round all that up. Okay, this one, be sure you've got the sealed one into the brake area here. The open part should be towards the middle. Okay, that one's home. Then you need to get your spacer in there, and this one here is open on both sides because you've got a seal on the outside. Well, that stuff is greasy. Okay, I think we're down there, so I'll probably have to take this seal out, but it's easy enough to do because when I put it in the truing wheel, it probably won't allow me to do it. And the same thing here. Got our seal out, the sealed part of the bearing. Don't forget to put your spacer in. I usually put the numbers for the bearings out. That way you can see if you need to go get them. You can do so. Sounds like it's home. Just check our spacer. Yep, it's tightened up. And there again, get our seal in. Okay, we're ready to build wheels. Okay guys, there you have it. We've got our hubs cleaned up, painted up, and got the bearings all reinstalled and greased. These were in really good shape. I think if you remember when we took them apart, there was still a lot of grease packed around them. So no use buying something we don't need to buy. They really rolled free and clear. So we just cleaned them up and repacked them. And same with the seals. Seals all look good, so we just cleaned those up and reused them. The next step is building the wheels. I don't know how much of that I'll show. I probably will only show one if I do. It's just I've done so many of them on the Yamahas, the Suzukis, so these are absolutely no difference to them. They're all cross two, and it's just the same thing. 36 hole cross two. So hey, thanks for going along on the ride, and we will see you next video.